Good afternoon, dear everyone.
Video mic will be good.
Are you able to hear me okay?
Hello, sisters. Just trying to adjust the video a bit.
How is the weather where you are right now?
We are in Huntsville, Alabama, and it is very pleasant. Thank you. We are very happy for that. I hope it's nice at the monastery.
Yes, it is indeed lovely here. There's a bell here. Please breathe with us. Sister Dinia, would you like to say something to our friends?
Good afternoon, dear friends. So happy to see all of you. Is there anyone is new to the session? Can you raise your hand? Yeah. Where are you from?
Hi, I'm Cynthia Coleman and I live in Silver Spring, Maryland.
Oh, been there many a time.
Welcome, Cynthia. Thank you for joining us. Laura, may we ask where you're currently living?
Hi, I am in Montgomery, Alabama. The weather is it's cooler here than it has been. I have my camera off because I'm have an illness and I'm not sitting up. So
Yes. It's okay, please, as long as you feel comfortable. Thank you for joining us. We have quite a number of people from Alabama joining us today. Anyone from Mississippi?
Me?
Yes, you. Wonderful. Yeah, if you could type in the chat box, share with us where you are currently living or staying. So we have Washington, D.C., Western Virginia, Louisiana, Augusta, Georgia, Florida, McLean, Virginia, Austin, Texas, Costa Rica. Wow. New Haven, Connecticut, Tucson, Green Valley, Arizona, Ontario, Canada, Fort Worth, Texas, Green Valley, Arizona, 25 miles west of Philadelphia, Boston, Massachusetts, Illinois, Michigan, Tokyo, Japan. It is quite early in Japan. Yes. Many places at once. This is what I love about Zoom, making it possible for us to join. All right, shall we sing some songs?
Yes.
Yes, please. Have your favorite tea or water with you. Let us clear our throat before we sing some songs, making sure our voice is working well. It's a way to keep ourselves hydrated. I just want to share this with you before I forget. registration for I Have Arrived, I Am Home retreat, which is from August 30th to September 3rd. The last day to register is on August 20th, which is 3 more days. So if you haven't registered yet and wish to come, please do so by August 20th. Thank you. And the registration for healthcare retreat is still open, online and on site. And here are the songs. Okay, Sister Danielle, please help us.
Can we sing the song 15? Come and sit.
I was just about to type that.
And other songs, any other songs that you wish to sing different, feel free to type it in the chat box. And if possible, please mute yourself so that we won't cause any echo. Let's move this baby Buddha to the side. So easy. It's so well behaved. Look at that. Okay, let's move to the left. And it did.
Everyone, please sing along with us. Come and sit by my side if you're lonely. Close your eyes, drink some tea together. Breathing in, breathing out, smile and calm. You will feel that the life is so good. Come and sit by my side when you're tired. Close your eyes, put your hand on your heart. Breathing in, breathing out, smile and calm. You will feel that the life is so true. Come and sit by my side if you cry. Close your eyes, put your hand on the earth. Breathing in, breathing out, smile and calm. You will feel that the life is happy.
It seems that no friends are requesting to sing any song, so we can choose.
How about song number 4? We are one, we are all.
This song has movements. Please do with us.
We are the leaves of one tree.
We are all the leaves of one tree. The time has come for all to live as one. We are all the leaves of one tree. We are all the waves of one sea. We are all the waves of one sea. The time has come for all to live as one. We are all the waves of one sea. We are all the stars of one sky. We are all the stars of one sky. The time has come for all to live as one. We are all the stars of one sky. We are all the leaves of one tree. We are all the waves of one sea. The time has come for all to live as one. We are all the stars of one sky. Maybe one last song? Dear friends, do you have any request? You seem quite quiet today. Is it because you're on mute? But you can type in the chat box.
I think there's some numbers in the chat box. 17 people seem to want that one.
Oh, really? So, okay, let's see. 17. Oh, sorry. It's our fault. We did not open the chat box. That's why we didn't see any number. Once you have the share screen on, you don't see the chat box. Okay, 17. Thank you so much, dear friend, for letting us know that. See, wrong perception, right? Wrong perception. See. Okay, 17. Cultivate joy. Yes,
This song, Sister Bồ Nghiêm will help us to sing.
it's a very beautiful song. It's a song written by a friend. Her name is Jamie from New York. I don't know if she's still in New York, but she used to live. When she wrote this song, she was in New York. She did not live far from the monastery. And when I first heard this song, I was like deeply touched. Very profound song. And it goes like this. You don't know this song?
Rocket.
Okay, let me drink my water, so make sure I sing it right. Cultivate joy hour by hour, smile by smile, flower by flower. Sow seeds of joy among gloom and despair. Cultivate joy, and joy will be there. Cultivate joy, and joy will be there. Cultivate peace, hour by hour, smile by smile, flower by flower. Sow seeds of peace among hate and fear. Cultivate peace, and peace will appear. Cultivate peace, and peace will appear. Cultivate love, hour by hour, smile by smile, flower by flower. Sow seeds of love among hard and cold. Cultivate love, and love will take hold. Cultivate love, and love will take hold.
It's not easy to sing.
Yeah, it's not easy. If you have long breath, you can sing this song beautifully. My breath is quite short, so there were parts where I should pause, but I have to pause or else just out of breath. Any friend here who knows this song before? No. Yeah, I think the reason why you don't answer is because you know I will invite you to sing, right? I see. Okay, thank you, dear friends. Yes, thank you for your encouraging words. Now we invite you to Sit back, relax. Sister Dimium will have something special to offer to all of us.
Thank you, Sister Bội Nghiêm, for a wonderful song. We all know that you have wonderful voice. Thank you. I would like to invite Sister Bội Nghiêm and everyone to come back to our breathing. We will have a session of sitting meditation. It's a wonderful time. And wonderful opportunity for us to come back to ourselves, to enjoy the breathing, to recognize our body and take good care of it. You can either close your eyes or keep them half open. Either way you feel comfortable. Relax your face by offering yourself a half smile. Relax your shoulders. You can roll your shoulders a little bit in order to relax them. Keep your back straight but relax. Your head, your back on the same straight line. You sit on the chair, please make sure that your feet put flat on the floor. And them also can be relaxed. Relax your hands. And during the session of sitting meditation, if there are some thoughts arising in your mind, it's okay. Just simply recognize it, smile to it. Let it come, let it stay, and let it go. Come back to your breathing. Feel the sensation of your body. Feel the peace, happiness, energy. We'll start with 3 sounds of the bell. Breathing in. I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out. I know that I'm breathing out. In, out. Breathing in, I follow my in breath from the beginning to the end. Breathing out, I follow my out breath from the beginning to the end. Following in breath, following out breath, all the way through. Breathing in, my breath goes deep. Breathing out, my breath goes slowly, deep, slow. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile to my body. Calm, smile. Breathing in, I enjoy the present moment. Breathing out, I know this moment is a wonderful moment. Present moment, wonderful moment. Aware of the edible food I consume every day, I breathe in, seeing the effect of my consumption on the universe. I breathe out. Edible food that I consume, effect on the universe. Aware of the edible food I consume, I breathe in. Determined to eat in a way that reduces the suffering of living beings, I breathe out. Edible food, reducing suffering. Aware of the sense impressions I consume every day. I breathe in. Determined to have wholesome sense contacts. I breathe out. Sense impressions. Wholesome sense contacts. Aware of the desires and intentions I consume every day. I breathe in. Determined to base my intentions in understanding and love. I breathe out. Desires and intentions, understanding and love. Aware of the collective consciousness that nourishes me every day. I breathe in. Determined to be nourished by what is wholesome. In that consciousness, I breathe out. Collective consciousness, wholesome elements. Breathing in. I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out. I know that I'm breathing out. In, out. Dear friends, the session of CD meditation is over. You can open your eyes and massage yourself. Good afternoon, dear respected Thầy, dear Sister Dinh Nguyen, dear beloved friends. Are you able to hear me okay? Wonderful. Sister Thượng Nghiêm, Sister Up, will join us in a few minutes. She has some other responsibility to attend. That's why she will come a bit late. Today is August 17th in the year 2023. And this is going to be my almost last session with you. Next week will be my last session with you. And we will have a long pause because the monastics, we have the US teaching, mindfulness teaching tour at Magnolia, and then we will travel to Deer Park Monastery in California for the whole month of, from September
18th to September 20th to October 18th. And we will return to have the weekly online session starting in November. So again, we will have a long pause from August 24th till November. And during that time, we hope that there are other sanghas that meet online that you could join. If not, you could listen to the recorded sessions of our weekly online session. Do you see something on the screen that is blocking this Dinium's face? Yeah, that's a fly. Okay. Yes, and you could find the sessions that Sister Dinium and I, as well as with myself and other sisters, led in the past on our YouTube page, youtube.com, Magnolia Grove, MPC, Meditation Practice Center. Today, we will learn together the 5th mindfulness training, Nourishment and Healing, and it will be in different format. We will have questions and responses instead of hearing directly from me. I know you want me to rest, right? To nourish myself and to heal myself, just to give myself a mental break of preparing any talk. And I love sessions of questions and responses. And with that, we can hear directly from your practice. So Sister Dinh Sister Thuong Nghiêm, and I, we will take turn to answer your question or to respond to your question. There's a bell, please breathe with us. But before we go into the session of questions and responses, I want to share just a short bit instead of giving a long sharing like in the previous session. You know, if I were to ask you, what is your favorite food? What would you answer? Could you type in the chat box for me? What is your favorite food? Peanuts, rice, cucumber, pineapple, chocolate, pasta, pizza, blueberries, mango, eggplant, whatever makes me feel good. Silence, almonds, strawberry, watermelon, peanut butter jelly sandwich, rice, chocolate. Okay. Nobody is mentioning weekly online session. Matcha green tea. So dear friends, as student of the Buddha and as practitioner, whenever we hear the word food, we can think differently. The food that you type in the chat box, most of them are just edible food. The guided meditation that Sister Dinh just did, she mentioned 4 types of nutriments, 4 types of food. And in the previous weekly online sessions, I already went through each one, and there were some, it took me 2 weeks to finish. And so you are welcome to listen to those again. So thank you for sharing with us your favorite edible food. Next time, if somebody asks you, or if you ask someone, what is your favorite food? You could say a quality time open and honest conversation with my family. That can be a favorite food. Or watching my favorite movie. Yeah. Or in my sitting meditation, I express my gratitude to myself. That can be my favorite food. So any food that gives us nourishment and healing, they can be edible food, sense impressions, which means the food that we consume through our eyes or ears or nose, the movies we watch, the inspirational books we read, the music that lifts us up or help us to calm down, or just a walk on the beach, the intention, the aspiration, the desire, and the collective consciousness. So these are the four nutriments. And in our daily life, we choose this food mindfully with balance. We cannot survive with only just one food. Do you think we can survive if we only have edible food? And if we don't have volition or good intention? Some people decided to end their life because they find no meaning in life. You come here on a weekly basis because you're looking for wholesome sense impression food. Listening to Dharma talk, meditate together with others. You would wake up very early if you're in Asia. Some of you have to skip dinner to join us, or some of you perhaps have to prepare dinner earlier so that right after this session, you go and enjoy your edible food. But before you have your edible food, you want to have that sense impression first. Or some of you have to skip lunch. You're probably very hungry right now. Because you want to be in the collective consciousness that is wholesome. This nourishes you, this heals you. So if you have like young ones in your family, ask them, what is your favorite food? And then yes, you will hear them respond, pizza, hamburger, cucumber, chocolate. And then you say to them again, do you know that watching a good movie or your favorite, hopefully wholesome TV show is also food? And watching, reading anything, music is also food. And once the food enters the body, it will not be gone. It will forever be there in a different form. So this is why we have to be very mindful and perhaps vigilant of what we put into a body and into a mind. Especially nowadays, there are so many streaming services. Some of us perhaps can binge Netflix all night long, especially our favorite TV shows or books that have like, they hook us. You know, all these series have cliffhangers. Is that what it's called? We just want to watch the next one, the next one. Yeah. I remember this when, I think 5 years ago, the sisters, we watched the 55 episodes or 52 episodes of the Buddha, the series of the Buddha by filmmakers in India. It was once on Netflix, but I think now they're no longer on there. And it was really, really good series. The half of the series is based on the book O Path White Clouds, written by Thầy about the life of the Buddha. And many of you might not know this. And each episode was 45 minutes long. And I could tell I was hooked. I mean, the way that they ended each episode, I was like, my heart was like this, oh, I want to watch the next one. Some of the sisters who watch it, we made a promise that, okay, each week we would only watch 4 episodes. Each time we watch it, it will be just 2 episodes on Thursday and then Sunday night. And we promise one another that we will not watch alone. We watch together. But then I caught one of the sisters watching by herself. Because the series was just so good. And luckily, it was a series on the life of the Buddha. I have to admit, the filmmakers, the writers, the cast, and the crew, they did such a fabulous job on that Buddha series. So I know what it's like, you know, watching your favorite TV series. I used to watch Friends, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Smallville. And Smallville was often on Wednesday, so every day after school on Wednesday, I was just like, my heart was beating with so much joy and excitement, you know, waiting for Smallville to come. Superman, Clark Kent, and Lena, their love story. Yeah, it's like a boost of happiness for a young person. So that, you know, and oftentimes we would look for that joy, that excitement from the movies that we watch, from the music that we listen, or from coming to the monastery. And we ask ourselves, you know, what we are eating, consuming. Are they nourishing my happiness daily? Or do they make me more angry? Or do I have more resentment? So please, we are what we eat. We are what we eat. And, you know, at school, in society, we talk a lot about edible food, about the health benefits, the harm, but we don't talk about sense impression as much. They are equally important, very, very important for our mental health and for our physical health. And so I'd like to share with you the 5th mindfulness training. We'll take a look at it, and then we can start the session of questions and response. Could someone please help me to read this 5th mindfulness training? Yes, thank you, Jill. Could you unmute yourself, Jill?
Sorry, I clicked it and it didn't unmute. Thank you. Nourishment and healing. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful consumption, I am committed to cultivating good health, both physical and mental, for myself, my family, and my society by practicing mindful eating, drinking, and consuming. I will practice looking deeply into how I consume the 4 kinds of nutriments, namely edible foods, sense impressions, volition, and consciousness. I am determined not to gamble or to use alcohol, drugs, or any other product which contains toxins, such as certain websites, electronic games, TV programs, films, magazines, books, and conversations. I will practice coming back to the present moment to be in touch with the refreshing, healing, and nourishing elements in me and around me, not letting regrets and sorrow drag me back into the past, nor letting anxieties, fear, or craving pull me out of the present moment. I am determined not to try to cover up loneliness, anxiety, or other suffering by losing myself in consumption. I will contemplate interbeing and consume in a way that preserves peace, joy, and well-being in my body and consciousness, and in the collective body and consciousness of my family, my society, and the earth. I think you're muted.
Thank you, Jill, for the beautiful reading and for letting me know I was muted.
Thank you for letting me know I was muted.
So now, dear friends, it's time for questions and response. A good question comes from the heart, and it doesn't have to be long. We can save the life story for other time. If you have a question, you can just go directly into the question, and this gives us more time to respond to your question and allow more friends to ask. So if you have any question related to nourishment and healing, we would like to focus on that instead of the other 5 mindfulness trainings. Please feel free to raise your hand and you could ask, or if you feel more comfortable, you could have your question in the chat box. There's a bell here, please breathe with us. Yes, Jill.
Thank you, sister. I did put this in the chat box. But anyway, how can there was something in there about not getting pulled back into the past, and I'm just trying to figure out how to reconcile that with going back to relate to the inner child, because that a lot of that has to do with stuff from the past.
Thank you, Jill, for the question. So I would like to read the question that you just put in the chat box. How can one relate not getting pulled back into the past? On the one hand, with going back to the inner child, on the other hand. The second question we have is how to heal self-hatred when that's what you are taught. Sister Up is here, perfect. We're just starting our session of questions and answers. When I am anxious, I do automatically start consuming more sweets or food. How do I stop this behavior or try to drown my feelings with food? Very, very good question. Very practical. How do you know which non-edible nourishments contain toxins and which nourish collective peace? Okay, so perhaps, and yes, Luke, please share with us your question.
Thank you, dear sisters, dear Tai. My question is, when we're having a conversation, maybe that's about a topic that we don't agree with. Maybe there's racial things being shared or things about a different view that maybe is white supremacist. And how can we speak up without making the other person shut down? And but also staying silent feels like being not, it's passive participation. Does that make sense?
Yes, so when talking about topics that we tend to disagree,
Mm,
how can, like topic on race or white supremacy, mm, how can
mm,
we speak up in a way that that person perhaps understand us or listen
mm,
to us,
mm,
and not to remain silent, because if we remain silent at that time, then it might be passive. What was the, that you say? Passive what?
participation.
Yes,
Like
passive
yeah.
participation, intervention, bystander intervention instead of
Yeah.
passive participation.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, yes,
Mm,
thank you for that. Look, if you don't mind, could you type that question in the chat box so that we have
yes.
all the questions written? Thank you. Okay, so dear friends, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions already. Are you ready, sisters?
Not finished, not finished, but just be back.
Okay, so we're gonna let Sister Thượng Nghiêm, Sister up rest a bit. Let us listen to one sound of the bell. Sister Dimian, is there a question you would like to respond to our friend? First question, how can one relate not getting pulled back into the past? On the one hand, with going back to the inner child on the other hand. So this seems like a wounded inner child. How to heal self-hatred when that's what you are taught. When I am anxious, I do automatically start consuming more sweets or food. How do I stop this behavior or try to drown my feelings with food? How do you know which non-edible nourishments contain toxins and which nourish collective peace? How is it that my beautiful dogs understand nutriments and balance so much better than I do? They are teaching me. Yes, dogs also have Buddha nature. Spiritual reading is so important to pursuing a spiritual path. What are some of your favorite spiritual reading sources? We shouldn't be biased on this, right? Is there a question you want to answer, Sister Dini, or you want to answer later?
Yeah, maybe later.
Okay.
Mình sẽ làm trước.
Sister Up will help to answer first.
So, dear sister and dear friends, I would like to respond to the answer to the question how one can relate not getting pulled back into the past. On the other hand, we go in back to the inner child. on the other hand. And when I am anxious, I do automatically start consuming more sweets or food. How do I stop this behavior or try not to drown my feelings with food? So I see that in each one of us, there's the inner child that maybe in the past we are not clever enough, or the adults in the past not clever enough and create the suffering, the painful feeling in us. And even though when we grow up, when we haven't know how to practice, we haven't know how to embrace, so we let the past drown in ourselves. When I learn more about the neuroscientists, we know about the neuron pathway, and we know that it automatically, when something tick on our mind, and then the electric signal in our mind just run automatically, and it touch to the point that all the feelings in the past come up. When we know that, first, for me, first I recognize that it's the chemical in my mind first. It's not only my feeling, it's not only my emotion, but first we recognize that it's the chemical, the connection in the neuron in our mind. It creates our feelings like painful feeling, angry, anxiety, worry, etc. So when we know that, for myself, I smile to this it in me when it come up, when something look like in the past, touch my past experience, and it create the emotions in me, and that the emotion in the present connected to the emotion in the past. When I so that the first part with my practice, but before that, I water the seed of solidity, the seed of peace, to solid myself. So in the daily life, I with the schedule in the monastery, I water the calmness, the peace, the stability in me. And then when these emotions touch and the past come up, I use my breathing or my walking, mindful walking, to embrace my emotions. I let it calm down. And then when my mind, so in that point, that when I have the calmness, I can embrace and look deeper. If not, I wait till the next session of meditation, like sitting meditation, or early morning when I wake up. My mind is quite like tranquility and quiet. I invite it to come up, to look deeper, to see the roots of my emotions and all the things like get involved into my suffering. And gradually, I see that the same thing happen, the past happen. It's very natural, like when we have very suffering to one person, and the other person mentioned to that name, it's automatically we feel like irritated, we feel painful, we feel like it's hard to breathe, we feel our heart like it's can't, like we can feel the painful feeling in our body. So gradually, with time, with the practice, with looking deeper and deeper, each time we have a chance, then it very naturally we can like transform that feeling, and we got healing. And so that's my experience about it, like concern to the first question, and to the questions. It's also the same with the question about the anxiety, the anxious feeling. I am also like kind of person, very anxiety, very anxious before the public. Before I'm afraid of public speaking, but like on this path, I know that I need to offer my presence, my practice to friends who come here, and so to offer, I need to like share my practice, share my experience in front of the public, in front of friends. So like, so I train myself too, and whenever like the anxiety come up, even though when I think about like I will give a talk, I will lead a session, so it's come up. So it also like come back to the basic practice, come back to our breathing, recognize it and embrace it. And when we aware it, so we not be bị dẫn đi đó chị.
Not be pulled by.
Yeah, we not be pulled by our desire. So to me, usually when I I feel anxiety in me, anxious in me, like I also take some candies or or try to run away, like hide myself from the public. But when I recognize that desire, that wish to withdraw, I stop it. Or the desire to get some sweet, I stop it. So yeah, maybe for the first time we can like pause ourselves for 5 minutes, and then we get one too sweet, but next time maybe 10 minutes later we get one sweet, and half an hour is sweet, and later on it will like we will transform that habit. But I believe that with the strong mindfulness we can like master our mind and our desire to get to run away from our feelings. That's what I think, and according to my experience too. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you so much, Sister Up. Now you can rest. Of course, we'd love to hear more your responses too, because there are other questions. Celine?
I want to say something, but don't have anything in my mind yet.
Oh, you just say something and they will come. Yes, I did. I hope the sisters choose hard questions so I can answer easy ones.
Oh yeah, this one is easy. Spiritual reading is so important to pursuing a spiritual path. What are some of your favorite spiritual reading sources? Dear sisters, dear friends, actually I prefer the previous sessions that I to be here enjoying the talk. But then it's a wonderful way for me to practice, practice sharing, practice thinking in English, and practice to share the role of teaching that my sister used to do. It's also a wonderful way for me to grow up in this spiritual path. I remember when I was a very young age, about in the elementary school, I already had a chance to read a lot of spiritual books. I was so surprised that I had a chance to read so many kind of very big books in the Buddhist tradition. I went to my friend's house, and her father had a very huge library about those kinds of books, and I just read one by one. And yeah, I grew up in that environment. I read, but I couldn't understand what it was, and also didn't know who to ask what the book taught me, but just did it automatically every day. And one day I found a book of Thai, The Old Past White Cloud, and I think it was the first one. It was the first book that I was touched. I could understand, and I could practice what the book contains. And even those with the spiritual resources, I think it's also very important to find the one that I just share my experience that I can understand, and also can use it in my daily life, not to have so many ideas in the head, but not useful for my daily life. And since reading that book, I think I changed myself a lot. The way I live, the way I behave, the way I see things around me, the way I treat my relatives, my families, my friends. And for me, the books of Thai really helps me to maintain peace, happiness, and transform myself. And I read those books before I know who Thai Wu is. I read those books before I became a nun. Then it's just a natural way for me to be happy to find the book that helped me a lot. Then I hope that you also find the benefits of the book that you have, that you're reading. I think you can choose for yourself. And concerning to the answers, feelings, I also have the same experience, and in the past, whenever I have anxious irritation or worries, I also have a tendency to find something sweet to eat. Or, I also have a tendency to go to the toilet so many times. But then, since I've recognized that tendency, I just hold my hands together and feel my breathing. Then I see that my breathing change a lot because of those feelings. And my heart beats faster, my breath shallow. But then I just hold my hands together and tell myself that it's okay, I'm here for you. I know that anxious there, worries there, but it's okay. Everything is okay. I'm here for you. And after a while, it's better. And I also practice to drink tea. And tea changes the mind that, oh, it's good enough, no need to have sweet. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, dear sisters. Yes, it's like today we are making confession. Yes, we eat sweet. Perhaps we listen to one sound of the bell. I'd like to answer the other questions. How to heal self-hatred when that is what you are taught? This is a very powerful question. Self-criticism, self-hatred, self-love. I often joke that we all should get a PhD in it because we're so professional. We're so good at it. We do it every day, many times during the day. And some of us, we are addicted to it. Yeah. For some reason, we find comfort in it. And at the same time, we have so much guilt and regret after doing it. I think we should not blame ourselves for this self-hatred that we have, because like what this question is asked is because it's how we are taught. Self-hatred, we are taught. We are taught from some of our family members, our friends, the movies, the news, all of this. And so there are ways that we can help to transform this self-hatred. I think gratitude to ourselves is one way. And when we practice gratitude, it is not that we are denying. It is to look at life, look at ourselves with different lens that we haven't looked before. For someone who has self-hatred, we tend to criticize ourselves a lot. Just like with someone we don't like or we don't love, no matter how many beautiful things they do, we still find ways to criticize them. In Vietnamese, we say trái bầu gì đó.
Yêu thương bộ áo cũng tròn và bông hoa cũng mấy.
Yeah, yeah.
Rồi xuống ghế thì bộ hoa cũng.
So, you know, I think bohan is a type of vegetables that is like perfect looking, but you can still find fault in it. But when something that is not looking perfectly, or well, nothing looks perfectly, right? But you can see the beauty in it. That is because you have love for that person, for that object. And it is the same with ourselves when we hate ourselves. We will always find faults, no matter how well, how beautiful we are. Always find faults. So come back and be grateful to ourselves. Make small things. No, I'm reading the book by Michelle Obama, The Light We Carry, and she's talking a lot about knitting. How a small tool can help us to make big change. So self-hatred is a big issue that we have. So now let's try something to find something small. Let's say the smallest part of your body that is visible for you to see is your pinky. I once asked the children, don't underestimate anything small. That's what the teaching of the Buddha. So we look at our pinky and we ask ourselves, why is my pinky here? What role does it play? Is it important? And so a child taught me that this pinky helps you to hold 50% of the friction. If you can just imagine doing some things without your pinky, you will know how difficult it is. If next time you say, what is there to be grateful for? Just look at your pinky. Think about your pinky. Yeah. Think about the nails on your finger. Once we start to come back and be grateful to this body, then we can start to go deeper into other parts in our mind, or compassion or peace. Okay, yes, I have self-hatred. And in the past, perhaps I harmed myself, but now I am not harming myself anymore. And I'm very grateful to that. I'm very happy. Let us celebrate that. Don't just focus on the self-hatred, but also focus on the progress that we have done to transform that self-hatred over time. And talk to our self-hatred. Talk to it as if you are talking to a dear friend. Don't treat it like it's your enemy. Don't fight with your self-hatred. Just like don't fight with your depression. It is not going to help. There's only taking care. There's only tending. There's only embracing. Embracing is different than nourishing. So please don't sit there and fight with your self-hatred, but sit there and take care of it. Talk to it as if you are talking to a plant, your favorite flower. My self-hatred. Why are you here today? Why are you here this moment? Just let it say what it wants. And then, okay, self-hatred, I hear you. Now, self-hatred, let's talk to self-love. Self-love, what would you like to say to self-hatred? So sometimes, like, let's create a movie between these two characters. You are the director, the writer, the actor, the producer in these 5 minutes of short film. There are two main characters, self-hatred, self-love. They're having a dialogue. What would you like to say? I have been hating myself for so many years. Is it helping me? Is it helping anyone? It's not helping. When I know it's not helping, then let's try to find another way that can help. We can unlearn what we have learned, whether that is racial discrimination, race, LGBTQIA+, self-hatred. Sometimes we need to unlearn what we learned in order to start anew, in order to stop, in order to begin anew. Whatever enters our mind and our body, we cannot remove, but we can definitely transform. So we don't have to be there and cling to what we have taught. We can change it. You can say, some people have taught me self-love. I'm sure Tay taught us self-love, or other spiritual teachers taught us self-love. So let us focus more on that and not just focus on the self-hatred that we have been taught. So what I'm trying to share is to keep these two as balanced as possible. If the self-hatred is something that is up here in this level and self-love is down here, and so we can find ways to make sure that self-love meets with self-hatred so that the self-love can embrace the self-hatred. And over time, the self-hatred is being cared for. We're not pushing it away. We're not fighting with it. Because you cannot fight with hate. You can only love in order to transform. So be grateful to your body. Be grateful to the gifts of seeing things. Be grateful to the fact that you are not teaching self-hatred to other people because you know how painful that is. Be grateful what your self-hatred is not doing. And be grateful that beside the self-hatred, you also have self-love. So coming back to the present moment and teach ourselves self-love. Perhaps our loved ones taught us self-hatred, or other people taught us self-hatred. But now we are mature enough, we are mindful enough, we can teach ourselves self-love to take care of this self-hatred that we have inside. So again, unlearn what you have learned. Relearn what we have learned. And we don't have to be caught. We don't have to be so faithful with what others taught us in the past, because that can be very dangerous. A lot of suffering is being caused because we are so caught to what we have been taught. We learn, we open to learn, to remove wrong perception, to have more understanding, respect, and care. So the things that taught us that is leading to the path of destruction, we can unlearn, we can transform. And we have to tell ourselves that this self-hatred is impermanent. And I can transform this self-hatred into self-love by coming back to the present moment and teaching myself self-love and practicing self-love. Like what Sister Ding Yim shared about holding hands, what Sister Thương Yim shared about, being anxious, that is the chemical in our body. There are so many layers that come to it. How do we know which non-edible nourishments contain toxins and which nourish collective peace? Our body can tell a lot. Our body is a great teacher and a great tool for us to know what contains toxins or not. I mean, if we are so immune to negativity, hatred, violence, our body can receive this without so much problem. But if we have been in an environment where our body is experiencing peace, mindfulness, or have healthy relationship, then when we know something that is toxic, our body will feel it. Perhaps we feel stress right away. Our heart beats faster. Our thoughts know that it is not safe. The way that certain people look at us, or the way that they ask us certain questions, we know it's not very genuine, very safe. We feel it. So let's learn to listen to our body. Yeah. When we enter a room, we know if this is peace or not. Because is our body relaxed? Is our body relaxed? Do I feel calm? My eyes, are they concentrated? Am I looking at something? Can I stay focused? Or do I feel danger? So this body can tell. And you know, with movies, like I share in one of the sessions, they have ratings. We know what rated R movies contain, PG contain. And also books too. Just by looking at the cover, you know what it can contain inside. Or, you know, before we watch a movie, this is how I do it to avoid toxic content entering my body and mind. Before I watch any movie, I would go read the description, the summary. I will go read for some reviews, and I look for the rating. Then I know, okay, this is appropriate for me. And it's the same with books. There are books that contain very heavy information. And because it has a lot of suffering in that book. And it is based on true stories. And when we learn about that, perhaps it can help us to have more understanding to why a certain group of people suffer more than us. As a white person, I have more privilege than a BIPOC. Why is that? Do I know that? What does white privilege mean? When we have understanding, then we can have peace. Again, there are movies that after we watch it, we feel very tired because of so many profanity, violence, disrespect. Yes, we can transform, but it takes a long time to transform. Is it worth it? We have enough drama in our life to transform. Personal drama. whatever we watch, whatever we read, and they contain so much drama, and these are just for entertainment. Is it worth it for us to spend so much time to transform this drama? There are books and movies out there that can nourish collective peace. First, we choose authors that make a positive difference in the world, whether that is spiritual teachers, like our teacher, or activists that emphasize nonviolence. We look for these books, for these authors, and choose the books. So we don't always have to listen to Dharma talks. We can listen to podcasts. We can listen to commencement speeches. I love listening to commencement speeches. They contain a lot of profound messages that can help to encourage a person to make a difference in life. And we look around us and we see why people suffer. Just look at our family member. We know why they suffer. What food are they eating? Once you know, you don't do it. I often share that life is so short to only learn when we make mistakes. Learn from the mistakes of others. We know like I have 3 sisters. Sister Học Miem is one. I have 2 other sisters. One of my sisters, she loves to learn from spiritual teachers or practitioners. She's a vegetarian. She eats healthily. She's very mindful of the food that she eats. She will go and learn from different spiritual teachers and learn how to love herself more. I'm so happy whenever she shares with me about this, and I can feel her peace when I'm with her. My other sister is not there yet, and I could see the anxiety in her. I could see that she speaks loudly, but inside she has a lot of fear. Because perhaps she does not allow herself yet to consume nutriments that cultivate peace and joy at this moment. And what can I do? I just sit and hope and pray. And if one day she say, my younger sister, is there a Dharma talk that I can listen to nourish my peace? I'll send her a few. But now she's not asking, so I'm not going to send her any. So again, listen to our body and observe, observe for signs that you know that this food is not healthy. It contains toxin. There are always warnings and disclaimer. Tobacco says it can cause damage to your tongue, to your lungs. It is part of the law now. There's warning everywhere. This is how you open a package. Keep away from children. So it's the same with the non-edible food. There's warning. You just have to look for it. The important thing is, are we following the warning? Do we stop when we see the warning? or do we continue to go and do it, go against the warning? And the last question is from a friend about having difficult conversation, bringing topics that can cause perhaps disagreement, like race, white supremacy. In us, we always want to help our loved ones to be more open-minded and to have better understanding, because we're able to see the suffering of the marginalized communities. Perhaps we have friends, perhaps because of our interest, we watch documentaries, movies, we read stories, and it is painful to see the suffering of people in the marginalized groups. And our loved ones are not there yet. And these days, it is so easy to have this division because of just how technology is built upon. For those of us, we know that if we go on YouTube and type in, meditation, we will see like 50 or 100 videos on meditation. Now that's good content. But imagine if we type something like harming, or cause hatred, hating a certain group of people, then there will be a list of videos. They're there. This is why it's very difficult to have communication with our loved ones when it comes to topics that perhaps we consider as difficult. First of all, the reason why it's difficult, it is because we're not talking about it enough. We're not doing it enough. That is why it is difficult. The more that we talk about it, it will be less difficult. Just like now, like Sister Up and Sister Danielle, questions and responses like this are very difficult for them because they haven't done it often yet. But by next year, they will become pro because perhaps they will have questions and response like this once every 2 months or so. Nothing is difficult. It is difficult because we haven't done it enough. And it is the same with the topic on race, gender, sexism. And so I think first, we have to be skillful and mindful. When we know that this topic is triggering so much anger in the other person, then it's not worth it, look. It's not worth it. We don't want to create more anger in that person. That person has plenty of anger already. For someone who supports white supremacy, we know the anger and the hatred in them. And if we play a role in adding more anger and hatred, try to educate or help that person, it's not going to do any good. So when we're talking to someone that tend to disagree with us on this topic, imagine you are watching a movie. Practice mere recognition. Just recognize that person as it is. And if you have your water there with you, just drink your water slowly. Like how I wash the dishes when my brother and we disagree on affirmative action. Maintain your calmness. Yes, if there's an urge of wanting to say something back, just drink your water. Drinking water is very helpful. I carry water with me all the time because it helps. Sometimes the breathing does not help, but drinking water helps. Because it's not easy to for that person to agree. No matter how much you try, when they haven't really personal experience the suffering of the other group yet. Because they think that they're right. It is only when they open their heart and educate themselves, then that's when change will happen. And it takes many years. Just be happy that it did not take us many years. And looking back, we were once like that. We were once like that, and we know what it felt like. We were very proud of our own understanding. We didn't feel the effort of to unlearn what we have learned. What's the need? Their suffering is not my suffering. Our practice of interbeing was not ripened back then. That's why we're able to see that, oh, there's no connection between that person and I. But now, through the practice or being aware of the suffering, we're able to see that this is not an individual matter. This is a collective matter. This is not just individual, but it's systematic. This is not a joke. This is real. This is not history. This is present. This is not the past. This is the present and the future. We're not able to resolve anything what happened from the past yet. That's why it's still here. We have that awareness, but our loved ones don't yet. So they will continue to believe what they believe, and they will continue to read what they are believing. So just look in their eyes with compassion. Drink your water mindfully and slowly. Wash the dishes with gentleness. Do not slam anything. Just say silently, may you be peaceful and may you be happy. Metta meditation. I'm doing that with my family. I'm doing that with what I see. May you be peaceful. May you transform your thoughts. That's something that we can do at that moment. It's not going to do any good if we defend our view or we try to correct their view. You can give some examples. Maybe that can help. Or invite them to watch some movies with you. Yeah. Green Book is a good movie. Or listen to a song. Yeah. Find something light to start with. And that's all I have to share. Are we missing any question? I think that is it, right? How is it that my beautiful dogs understand nutriments and balance so much than I do? They are teaching me. Because you're taking well care of your dogs. You have to give yourself credit. Yeah. You train your dogs well. And now we learn to train ourselves well. Take good care of yourself. You know, and oftentimes we see other people or other, yeah, especially other people, or in this case, our pets, are better than us. We tend to do that. We tend to compare. And if comparing is something that can help us to make a further step, then that is good. But if comparing is something that make us feel worse or guilty, then we can stop. We have to stop. Dogs have Buddha nature, so do we. So please, if you talk to your dogs with much kindness, give them healthy food, please do the same with yourself. Treat yourself with kindness, give yourself healthy foods. And I want to mention a little bit about the candy part. There are healthy snacks out there, healthy candies, healthy sweets that you can buy. You know, candies that are perhaps organic, free of high sugar. Have them stock in your house. And when you go to the store, you go to that aisle of healthy snack. Yes, it's okay to carry them with you. It's okay to have snack when you're anxious. But like our sister share, you know, first 2 bars and then now 1 bar. That's a bell. Okay, that marks the end of our time today. Thank you so much, dear friends, for staying until 6 o'clock. You must be very hungry. Let us listen to this one sound of the bell. Thank you, dear friends, for joining us. We'll see you next week. For next week, please bring your favorite tea or your favorite drinks. Make sure it's non-alcoholic. We will have a tea celebration to celebrate my departure from the weekly online session. See you
Thank
on
you.
next week.